President Biden says efforts to secure a ceasefire in Gaza and the release of remaining Hamas hostages is still ongoing. Biden told reporters today he did not think Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu was doing enough to reach a final deal, but he placed the blame of the deaths of 6 hostages found on Sunday squarely on Hamas, saying their, quote, leaders will pay for these crimes. Meanwhile, the UK government announced it was suspending some of its arms exports to Israel. The country says it is concerned Israel is using the UK weapons to violate international humanitarian law. Mark Cancian joins me now. He is a senior advisor for the International Security Program at the Center for Strategic and International Studies. Thanks so much for being with us, Mark. I want to start with asking you about this announcement today. I mean, how significant is this move, the UK suspending some of its arms exports to Israel?
The move is really symbolic. The UK provides Israel with only 1% of its arms imports, and the items being paused would not have been delivered for several years anyway. But it is significant because the UK has been a strong supporter of Israel. And the fact that they're taking this step shows that one of Israel's important supporters is losing patience.
May other countries follow suit?
I think you're going to see other countries doing something similar, that is not breaking with Israel, but finding tangible ways to show their impatience.
So President Biden said that he spoke with the U.S. hostage deal negotiation team today. There was this big meeting inside the Situation Room. They're trying to discuss next steps and how to secure a deal. I'm just wondering, Mark, how much power the U.S. has here. Is there anything more they can actually do to try to secure a deal?
Well, the United States can put pressure on Israel, but they have no levers over Hamas. And up until now, the two sides have been very far apart on a peace deal. Israel wants Hamas destroyed or at least rendered impotent so they can't attack Israel again. Hamas wants to reoccupy Gaza and be free to attack Israel in the future. They vowed to destroy Israel. There had been a hostage deal on the table, exchanging hostages dead and alive for political prisoners. And that had some hope of going forward, but may be difficult now after these recent events.
And we heard from Netanyahu today. He addressed the world and responded to the killing of those 6 hostages this weekend, saying there's a promise to exact a heavy price from Hamas. What might this mean for negotiations moving forward?
Well, this is not a change from where Netanyahu has been from the beginning. That is, he's taking a very tough line on Hamas. Not clear what he's going to do specifically. I think it reflects his frustration that Hamas murdered 6 hostages, and now everyone is mad at Israel and putting pressure on Israel to make a deal. He might strike at some of the leadership. They've been successful recently in attacking Hamas and Iranian leadership. You might see some of that.
And Mark, this message today from Netanyahu came after some pretty major protests this weekend. Do you think that any of those protests at any point could have an impact on Israel's next steps?
That's very possible. These protests have been very large, hundreds of thousands of people in a country that's not very large, as well as a general strike. That might push the government to accept a deal that they had not wanted to accept before. For example, accepting the fact that Hamas will continue to rule in Gaza in exchange for the hostages.